The voice of Husker Nation is on the air. This is Hail Varsity Radio. Insight, opinion, expertise, along with the biggest names talking Nebraska sports. Join in with the show at 402-489-1240 or 1-800-825-5865. Now, here are your hosts, Chris Schmidt and Elijah Herbel.
Great to have you in on a Thursday. It's Hail Varsity. Chris Schmidt, Elijah Herbel, and you. 489-1240 to get in. 800-825-5865. Loaded up for you. Is excited. Elijah's all packed. We will help plan his itinerary for Los Angeles. Maybe.
What do you mean, maybe?
You'll take suggestions?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
I thought you meant maybe I'm all packed up. Like,
no, you.
It's all in the studio here with me, actually.
Elijah's going to be saying hello and goodbye. He is going to be running out. Oh, we changed the flight, Schmidt. Sorry, but no. Good for you. I'm kind of half wishing I was going now.
This could have been an epic roadie, Schmitty. We could have been doing this show today from Vegas.
Yeah, but I'm excited to be doing the show tomorrow from Ameristar.
That's a good point.
Ameristar Council Bluffs Casino. Come see us across the river. Ameris Sportsbook and Bar. I'll be up there tomorrow, 4 to 6 road show. Elijah will be in Malibu doing his half of Hail Varsity Radio tomorrow. We'll converge for the weekend edition at noon Saturday. And get you ready for Nebraska-USC.
I actually have considered if I can find, all I need is one power outlet. One power outlet is all I need. If I can find a power outlet.
I just need one beer.
See, the thing is, whenever you say you just need one beer, you're lying. I actually just need one power outlet.
One leads to two, right? But
one power outlet's all I need. If I can find one simple power outlet anywhere near Santa Monica, I will be doing tomorrow's show from the beach.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Water and electricity never fails.
Not from the water.
No.
From the beach.
Okay.
I just need to find one power outlet anywhere nearby the beach, and that is my plan.
We've done a lot of shows, a lot of years, be it the mountains in Boulder or Estes or Columbus or East Lansing or Iowa City. But never has there been a phenomenal backdrop of the beaches of Malibu on the screens of Hail Varsity YouTube.
KG chimes in to say you can get a souvenir syringe from the beach.
Oh, wow. That's horrible. That's absolutely awful. We'll get our starting 5 shout outs going. A little more talk Nebraska-USC. Brandon Vogel, who hates the beach. That's been duly noted in his career. Vogues is not a beach guy, but he'll be with us in about 15 minutes in hour 2. Damon Benning going to kick off hour 2. We'll talk to DB. You hear him weekday morning 7 to 10 with Hurrdat Sports, him and Ravi. Coach Gary Barnett at 5:25. And then Danny Burke, Burke's Best Bets, burksbeat.com. Dynamite NFL schedule this weekend, a good Thursday night setting as well. We'll get into 489-1240 or 800-825-5865. Invited to like and subscribe. Hail Varsity YouTube, Hail Varsity Radio Twitter. And as always, find us on the different social media platforms to either stream or watch the show. Hail Varsity Radio Network. Always to get a hold of us and take us with, if you're heading out tonight or tomorrow, and catch the podcast on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, search Hail Varsity Radio. So you are packed. Mm-hmm. You have a little bit of downtime between when you arrive and showtime tomorrow. You're going to enjoy yourself. You're going with some buddies. Are you going to go tramp through the Hollywood Hills? Are you going to hit some incredible grub in Chinatown? Are you going to try and get a Dodger dog? Are you going to try and buy a map of the stars? Are you going to Rodeo? What's the agenda here? What's the itinerary?
It's a great question.
Just get me there.
Number one is getting there. I do know tomorrow morning I'm picking up a rental car.
Ooh, you're not going with the Sprinter van.
No, it's a more of an SUV type thing. The price was more right. So got that. And then I think first stop after you get the rental car, Randy's Donuts. I think that's a good place to start it off.
Can't you get those here?
You can't get a picture in front of the sign, though. You know what I'm talking about? The giant donut.
The giant donut.
You can see from space. Yeah.
Okay.
You
can see it from.
Yeah. No. So I think that's the first.
Elijah,
stop.
why are you so lacking of energy? Is it jet lag? No, I've crashed. I've had 47 donuts and I've crashed now, sugar wise.
Well, after that, then it's off to, I believe, the Santa Monica area. So night one tonight,
Santa Monica is awesome.
See, we're staying at a hotel night one, and we're near Inglewood, LAX, kind of Santa Monica area. And then our Airbnb, which we go to tomorrow night, is well away from that area. So I think we're going to go see that tomorrow. Maybe do some hiking up in the hills just north of Santa Monica.
All right.
Do the show, and then go off to the Airbnb, which is over by Dodger Stadium. So
okay.
Head over there, which sounds like going to be like a 2-hour
So are you
drive.
in Santa Monica or are you in Inglewood?
Kind of in between the two.
Okay.
Kind of in between the two, just north of LAX.
All right.
So we're kind of, yeah. That's night one, and then outside to the Airbnb. Game tomorrow. Sunday is completely up in the air, but there is, I laid this out earlier, Sunday night football. So I'm going to see if anyone else wants to go to a Chargers game down at SoFi.
All right. Well, say hi to Jimbo for us. You can wave at Harbaugh.
I'll play Alanis Morissette loudly from the stands.
You will do the acoustic version from the Howard Stern show. That's the best. I think Jim likes that best. In all seriousness, how about Keith Williams' tweet? Let's start with a little Cruton. And not only was it cryptic and delicious, but it was a double bottle flip. Does that signal a double flip for Nebraska in this 2025 class? We all think one is Dawson Merritt, the talented linebacker from the Kansas City region. Is the other flip Chase Lofton? Don't know, but I mean, he has been a guy that it sounds like when we talked with Tim Verghese, after the UCLA game, that's ready to look around. I mean, look at Florida State, right? I mean, they have blown out about everybody that he had committed to. And Norvell signed a $90 million extension last year. So he's fine. You can't pay him and also fight the ACC financially on top of revenue sharing and NIL and all that good stuff. I mean, it's just, unless you just print money in Tallahassee, and I don't believe you do. So I wonder if news is coming this weekend. I think you're getting not only the Dana bump on the field, we'll hear from Coach Rhule in just a moment, but you're getting it in the world of recruiting. And I think Nebraska will continue to chop wood and try and close that gap on Michael Terry III. I mean, Dana's a personality. Dana's a reputation. Dana Holgorsen is a commodity with what he has done on offense. The other thing you've done here too is you've probably staved off massive departures in your own locker room. Guys that are young and talented have shown up. I mean, you can't always say for certain because we're not in there. But if I'm getting tampered with and I'm Ja'Cory Barney or Dylan Raiola, and don't kid yourself, there's probably been some overtures made. This may calm some of those waters right now with, why stay in this offense with this team in this era of college football? It's different. It's nothing you or I grew up with, Elijah, where you just kind of take your ball and go home. That sure, there's been some examples of that, but it's rampant now and it's easy now and it's lucrative now. But all that being said, you've got a little bit of hope for not only these final 3 games, but next season. I think the only way Dana Holgorsen's not here in 2025 is if someone offers him a head job. And I don't think, short of an NFL spot as a coordinator, I don't believe he's going anywhere beyond these 3 games.
Well,
I think you got him for at least 2025.
If you look at this from Holgorsen's perspective, I don't think it makes any damn sense to come to Nebraska for 3 games to come lead a struggling offense if being a head coach is your goal. You can kick your feet up. TCU was having a fine offensive season. You didn't need to come take this job if your goal was to go be a head coach. There was no reason for you to come say, you know what, 3 games to help
Let's
a
make
sputtering
it real
offense
tough.
where I really, yeah, exactly. It doesn't make sense if head coach is the goal. And hey, maybe an offer comes along that you didn't expect that you can't say no to. It's always a possibility. But I think if Dana wanted a head coaching gig in this upcoming coaching carousel, he wouldn't be here right now. It doesn't make any sense to me if that's what
you
he's
get in
looking
front
for.
of the camera behind the desk, or you go pull the Sark Lane rehab card. That's what you do. That's what you do. Rick emails in and says Elijah's going to be in for a surprise. The difference between Malibu / Santa Monica and Inglewood. You ever Pulp Fiction?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Jules from Pulp Fiction. He was from Inglewood.
Oh,
Tough dude.
Yeah. Well, okay, I don't know how to respond to that.
No, I'm telling you. I think that's what Rick is insinuating.
I mean,
a little bit rougher area, Inglewood. That's where the forum's at, though.
Yeah. The forum's there. Randy's Donuts is there.
Mm-hmm.
I'll spend a minimum amount of time in Inglewood, and then
you'll get in, you'll get out. Get me a bear claw.
I'll see what I have to see. Maybe an apple fritter, and then move on.
You're going to go all the way to L.A. for an apple fritter? The best apple fritters in Nebraska reside in Norfolk, Nebraska.
No free shoutouts.
Yeah, well, wherever Grandma Schmidt bought them for us.
KG says I need to go take a tour of the highway OJ's white Bronco drove down.
Well, maybe. They did demolish OJ's house in Brentwood.
And I'm just realized now, I didn't ask if the rental car company had any white Broncos.
That's hilarious.
It could have been good.
Yeah, give me the 94 version. Uncle Larry is in our starting 5 shout-outs. Justin checks in anonymous. See if you can guess the team. The last time Nebraska won a regular season game west of Lincoln against a major conference opponent, Dana Holgorsen was the opposing offensive coordinator. I think you got to go back. God, this is forever ago. Is it Texas Tech? 2003? 2002? It's probably 2000. Nebraska smoked Texas Tech 56-3 before they went and lost in Norman. The other Dave is heading out to L.A. tomorrow. Arlo is in. Great Red Shark said, after being away from my computer yesterday, did I miss any epic brawls that didn't involve me? It has gotten a bit chirpy and chippy in the stream. Keep your head on a swivel, folks. Jay is here. QB1 Ace, back in from Arkansas. Your mama just continues to load up the vittles for us. It was pot roast yesterday. Today's chili for you boys. I can hear Clausburn uttering "you boys."
I really don't know what kind of bit is going on with that.
I don't know. But jalapeno cornbread with cheddar cheese on top. Anything with jalapeno is a good thing.
All I know, sorry, I just want to jump in and say here, if that is a bit, I fully respect anyone who commits to the bit that hard. So three putt asked, does Sat secretly wish the offense fails Saturday? I can't enter into his mind. 3 putt. I pray no, because the guy's making money and it may not be your show anymore, but you're still part of the act. Mike is here. Jeff Snitley in, part of the Boulder Peace Treaty. Good to have you. And we'll get some more shout outs here. Bruce from Spearfish is in. And we also have Red Knight 79 checking in. Real Matthew is here. Captain is back. Good to have you. And also along with the captain, KG, as you heard from just a bit ago. 489-1240. Let's hear a little bit from Matt Rhule. And I have buried the lead. Forgive me. But that lead being Dylan is good to go. Cut 1. Here is Matt Rhule from earlier today.
Yeah, Dylan's ready to go. Great week of practice.
Yeehaw.
To the point.
Dylan's ready to go. Great week of practice. That's what you want to hear if you're a Nebraska fan.
But are you not slightly surprised that Matt Rhule just was that forthright with it? Because we talked about this week about keeping USC in limbo, and I know they're already in limbo enough with the offensive coordinator situation.
Play it again for me. Let's try and read way too much into this. Go ahead.
Yeah, Dylan's ready to go. Great week of practice.
Okay. He didn't say Dylan's going to start. But
I mean, okay.
you really want to piss off some people?
Yeah. Yes, you can't go say that in a press conference and be like, well, he was ready for the trip, but he wasn't ready to play.
You've dealt with...
I never said he was going to play.
Yeah, I just said he had a great week of practice.
The pitchforks would be out.
They've been put down for the moment because Dana's now your offensive coordinator, but they're within arm's reach, right? Someone's grabbing the torch, getting the lighter ready. So our friend Evan Bland asked this question: how important was it to determine, who the quarterback was going to be early? Cut two.
We got reps to all the guys. Heinrich's ready to go. I think Heinrich's had a really, really, really good 2 weeks, and I think they both have practiced well. Danny's practiced well, so I think we'll take 4 quarterbacks out there, but I think they're all comfortable with what we do.
Okay, just do me this favor. Whatever happens Saturday, put a game plan together, go execute, and let's see number 15 have some fun playing quarterback, like how he started the year.
Where's the perfect place to go for lunch every day?
Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill.
Where can you watch all of your favorite college and professional sports all season long?
Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill.
Who's got family-friendly entertainment all throughout the week, including trivia, music bingo, and live music every Friday?
Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill.
Hurrdat Sports Bar in La Vista is the spot for lunch, date night, corporate events, or even a late-night cocktail. A one-of-a-kind spot for sports fans and more. Behind Cabela's in La Vista.
Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. Every day, Cintas service reps help businesses get ready for the workday. They provide freshly laundered workwear delivered every week. Mats, mops, restroom and cleaning supplies. First aid and safety products to help your employees stay safe. They even test and inspect fire extinguishers and emergency lights. Cintas helps keep your business running smoothly. See what Cintas can do for you. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Between all the holiday parties,
weekend tailgates,
and family get-togethers. Oh, they're here. Hey, who needs something to drink?
we've been overindulging a little more than usual. Thank goodness we both added active liver to our diets to give our livers some much-needed support so we have the energy we need to enjoy the holidays.
Active Liver from New Nordic contains a powerful blend of turmeric, milk thistle, and globe artichoke extract designed to give your liver maximum protection and help it do vital jobs like removing toxins from alcohol, rich foods, and sweets.
Try Active Liver today and enjoy all the holiday treats with the peace of mind of knowing you're giving your liver some relief.
Active Liver is available in both a delicious gummy or tablet. You can find Active Liver in stores at CVS or Meijer or online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
Steve Carpet here to tell you about the softest, most stain-resistant carpet ever. True Soft from Stainmaster. Brand new at O Street Carpet, and it's so durable. We have it in stock, on sale, and ready to make your home beautiful for your holiday guests. You'll also find the best selection of wood floors, area rugs, ceramic tile, and vinyl. Think of us as O Street Carpet and Floor. We're locally owned, family owned, and always the best values. Remember O Street Carpet and Floor.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. We want to make you a customer for life.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Learn more at Viking.com.
KFOR.
And now, back to Hail Varsity Radio.
Back with you, it's Hail Varsity. Chris Schmidt, Elijah Herbel. Check out Hail Varsity YouTube. You in vacation mode already, or is the mouse causing problems?
A little bit of both.
Okay, I like it. Elijah's got his bags packed for Inglewood. Brandon Vogel is in with us from his football abode. Counterread.com for Brandon Vogel, where you can subscribe, check out his work, Aaron Sorensen's work, great coverage of the Big Red. Bogues, it's USC week, man. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
We're good. We are good. It's been kind of the week plus of Dana. And I'm ready to ask you this question before we kind of dive in to the matchup. What is your take on the payoff? You know, Dana loves casinos. We're going to be at Ameristar tomorrow, 4 to 6, across the river in Council Bluffs. What's the payoff? How soon? What's this timeline for you? Is it immediate? Is it as simple as being Elijah Herbel and walking in with a hundy and going to the blackjack table and walking out one hand away, 200 in your pocket now? That happened last time he was at Ameristar. So I'm asking you, this offense, can you snap your fingers in 2 weeks and at least be competent?
Yeah, I think they can be competent. I think a lot of the impression of how much the offense has changed will be dependent upon whether Nebraska wins some of these games or not. It'll kind of be bottom line in that regard, which fair enough. Like that's ultimately, why you make a change at this stage in the season. So what odds would I put on Nebraska's offense being quote unquote better? I'd put pretty short odds on it because I think there's a good chance. So say 3 to 2. Like
Okay.
It's not something where you plunk down your $100 and you're going to make $10,000 if you're right. It's going to be a little bit gradual, I think. And I think, having the bye week helps a little bit. Well, not a little bit. It helps a lot. But I would expect whatever we see on Saturday for Nebraska to then be a little bit farther along the following week against Wisconsin. And then by the time you get to the last game of the year, Iowa at night on Black Friday, that might just be a game where you kind of got to throw everything out and it's like punt to win or whatever it takes to get one there. So I kind of look at this as we'll get 2 good looks at like what sort of change Holgorsen was able or was not able to affect on Nebraska, and fair enough. Nebraska has a shot in all 3 of these remaining games, though they may not be the favorite in any of them except possibly that Wisconsin game.
All right, Brendan, let's go worst case scenario here. What's your reaction if the offense looks unchanged or looks massively similar to what we've seen in previous weeks? We haven't talked about that this week. We've talked about the changes we expect to see, but
you can't look this. It can't be lifeless.
Well, one of the things we talked about though on the Average Joe Sports Show last night, which I encourage you to check that out, was like one of the things I'm very much expecting to learn this weekend is kind of that aspect of, was it scheme that isn't fitting what the players are doing well, or are the players just not able to go out and execute? And if it's answer 2, the players can't go out there and execute no matter what this scheme is, the thought is, well, it's probably going to look pretty similar to what we've seen before. So if that's the case, what is your reaction?
I think, a lot of it depends on how the games will play out, of course. But if that were to happen, I would largely think it's mostly the case of, well, this is just where a true freshman quarterback is right now, which isn't to lay it all at Raiola's feet by any means. I mean, he's been good at, last 3 games have obviously been a struggle, but even that loss to Illinois, he was good in that game. So the talent is there. The long-term upside is still all certainly there, but we saw even in the quote unquote old offense, that there were just throws, particularly of late in the past month, that he was not seeing or not going there for whatever reason. So I like without knowing exactly where Nebraska is going in the future, we know for the next 3 games, it's probably not going to be drastically different. But, one of the real strengths of the air raid, particularly like the Leach Texas Tech era air raid, is like, it didn't matter who played quarterback for them. Like they would just roll it out there and the system worked and there were going to be guys open and your job was to find them and get the ball there. We've seen Nebraska struggle with that at times. And I think that's what struggles would look like here over these next 3 games is if the ball's still just not getting there, then it might be something that, just requires a little bit more experience, a little bit more workshopping from a quarterback perspective. And if so, like, I don't think it's a long-term issue for Nebraska, but it's a really good question, Elijah. And I think that's kind of how it happens. I think you would see it first in the passing game against this USC team. Like, I think this is a game where, and we've seen them do it before, where Raiola, presumably, but Nebraska has a chance to be above 65, close to 70% completions. If it's not, then maybe it's just a case of still working out some of the, like, seeing the entire field and working through progression part of this.
Brandon Vogel with us from Counter Read, Nebraska-USC Saturday. So you've got to maximize that talent. That is a strength of Dana Holgorsen with the quarterback spot, also with the wide receiver room. And you're looking for better play in both instances. But Vogues, I go back to Columbus. The last time I saw Dylan really just kind of doing his thing, it didn't seem like that stage or that moment was too big. I think he loved the opportunity at Big Noon against number 3 in the country, and he played well enough. Absolutely played well enough, even though that final drive with 3:40 left, right? But it got off to a rocky start with offensive pass interference. Otherwise, it's 22-yard gain, by Banks. But after that, you look at UCLA, you look at Indiana, you look at the hits he's taken. Do you think he's had problems having fun, right? It's fun to win. It's fun to put up big numbers, but the joy versus the pressure part of this discussion with your freshman wall, and now you have a change. Do you think more fun can be put back in football in this offense with Dana as the guy?
Well, play calling abilities aside, like if you wanna insert some fun, Holgorsen might be the guy to pick for that too. Whether you want him to run the offense or not. So hopefully, but I think that's a really good point. I hadn't thought about it. Like, you could even look to that Purdue game. Like the offense wasn't finishing drives, but it was moving the football really, really well. I kind of look at that as like the last good passing game Nebraska had. Now they benefited from a lot of pass interference calls, sort of bizarrely, but still a pretty good passing day. And then you go and you have a bye week and there's a lot of build up to the Indiana game and you just get drilled. And when you think about for a true freshman, like even the Illinois loss, like frustrating, you lost in overtime though. So that could be, it's the first loss of your career. If you're Raiola, you can be like, well, you needed to make 1 or 2 more plays. We're fine. 56-7, things are no longer fine. And the fact that Nebraska hasn't won since then might be a little bit telling in that, it's hard to work through that first real big hurdle of adversity that you've seen. So that's there might be something to that. Can Nebraska dial that up just with a coaching change? I don't know if I'm ready to say that because like so much of these games, they just depend on how things start.
Brandon, as we start to wind things down here, I do want to get your thoughts on the stakes of this game in your eyes. What does it mean if Nebraska gets over that hump, gets to 6? How does that change your perception of the last 2 games? And then on the flip side, if they don't get it done, if they remain at 5 with 2 games to go, what is your mood, I guess? What are your thoughts on the stakes of Nebraska-USC?
Yeah, they feel pretty high for Nebraska. I mean, there's a lot of tension, probably more tension right now within the USC circle, but Nebraska is at least close enough where it's like it's a little bit of what we talked about a couple of weeks ago with the UCLA game. It's like, okay, well, and I thought Nebraska had a great shot in that game. I thought they were going to win that game. I was like, get that one done, and then you're just like, okay, let's go out and make this season like look as good as it can, because I thought that was a real possibility. If you get the win here in LA this week, like you've still got a little bit of a chance to do that. If not, well, you're coming back home. It's senior day. There's the pressure amps up beyond what it should actually be, because I think you're feeling it. I mean, Matt Rhule switched offensive coordinators 2/3 of the way through the season. Like they need to get that 6th win and get to a bowl game. And I would still feel, we'll see what Wisconsin does this week, but I would still feel okay about Nebraska's chances of doing that at home. But then that becomes kind of like you get the pressure of it feels like your last shot, not because they wouldn't have a chance against Iowa, but it's on the road, it's at night, it's against an Iowa team that can be pretty good. You don't want to be heading into that last game at 5-6, being like, well, here's our chance, because that has not gone well for Nebraska of late. And for Matt Rhule, that he would finish what? 0-10 in chances to get bowl eligible over 2 seasons.
Awful. And how about 0 for November in 2 years?
Wow.
That's grab the Jack Daniels now.
That's not the way anybody wants to go into the holiday season post Thanksgiving.
If they go over, I might drive east out of Iowa City instead of west and just go start a new life somewhere.
You are just relocating. Folks, I need a couple of minutes of overtime. Can I get that on the other side?
Yep, that works.
All right. Spike, a good post by him we put up on the screen if you're watching on the Hail Varsity YouTube channel. Over several hundred games coached by Dana Holgorsen as a head coach or offensive coordinator. 20 points or less 27 times. The rest have been 40. Let me find it exactly, but that is comforting if you're a Nebraska fan. And again, I'm not expecting to push a button and here's 45 points. No. But hell, the closer they get to 30 more regularly in the Big Ten, better things. More with Brandon Vogel on the way.
Sunday, the Chiefs put their 9-0 record on the line in Buffalo for a huge AFC matchup against the 8-2 Bills. Pre-game starts at 2 on your home for Kansas City Chiefs football.
FM 101.5, 1240 AM, KFOR.
You're counting on your team to win, so why not prove it? By placing your bets at Warhorse Sportsbook. Their win is your win. Put your money where your mouth is on nearly every sporting event. Use the Warhorse app to check odds and build your bets before placing your wagers in person at Warhorse Casino, including live in-game betting. No bets, no glory. Wagers may only be placed on Nebraska-based teams when played outside the state of Nebraska. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
Save big money on everything for your staining project at Menards. Minwax makes it easy to stain and protect any wood project from start to finish. For your next interior wood project, Minwax Wood Finish is the perfect choice. It's a penetrating oil-based wood stain that provides beautiful, rich color in just one coat. Save big money on all Minwax products at Menards. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Time to tell you about Lincoln Weight Loss and their huge holiday 30% off sale with the lowest prices of the year. Now through December 31st, while supplies last. They know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day with no exercising, no prepackaged meals, no counting points or calories, no drugs, no surgery, and no injections with the risk of serious side effects. Sign up now to get the discount, and you can start the program before, during, or after the holidays. You'll keep the weight off for good with the revolutionary program. No more losing weight and then gaining it back. Go to LincolnWeightLoss.com now for details. I'm living proof that this program works. I lost all the weight in just a couple of weeks, and I've kept it off for over a year. Take advantage of the lowest prices of the year with this huge holiday sale. 30% off while supplies last. Do the program in person or virtually from anywhere you live. Schedule your free consultation now. 402-520-8170. That's LincolnWeightLoss.com.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture with daily use.
Get the hard truth from someone who's seen it from the inside. Hey, this is Dan Bongino. As a former NYPD police officer, Secret Service agent.
Hail Varsity Radio is live. Now, back to Schmitty.
Schmitty's a great guy, but he don't have a brain.
And Elijah.
You want me to speak? When I point at you, yeah.
On Hail Varsity Radio.
A little bit of overtime here. Brandon Vogel with us, counterread.com, at Brandon L. Vogel on Twitter. He'll be popping in on the Saturday show as well that airs noon to 2 ahead of Nebraska-USC. Now, Vogues, I need a key. If you got to circle one big thing in a giant red marker, what is it for Saturday? What is going to be that game changer, that difference maker? There's several things that will be, compiled to determine the outcome. But what's the key thing for you?
Yeah, for me, I think it is, and I mentioned it earlier, like I'll be closely watching that completion percentage or Nebraska's yards per attempt in the passing game, or their success rate. Completion percentage is the easiest way. Like I said, this USC team in losses has averaged right about 70% allowed. We've seen Nebraska hit numbers like that before. Now, this USC defense, they're giving up 12 points fewer per game than they were a year ago. A big reason why is that they're not giving up the big plays they were in 2023, which is how that goes. That's kind of usually one of the first changes you can affect with a defensive coaching change, and they've done that to their credit. So when you take what we've seen Nebraska be able to do in the passing game, along with the new set of eyes and kind of the Holgorsen approach. And as I put it in today's preview at Counter Read, like they're not going to have the air raid. Can they have kind of an air raid mindset of like, just let's go where the defense tells us to go and we'll take 6 yards. If they can do that in the passing game, I think Nebraska has a decent shot to win. So the closer that completion percentage gets to 68, 70%, I think the better off Nebraska probably is in a vacuum.
It's Brandon Vogel with us here at Hail Varsity Radio. And Brandon, before we get you out, do you want to talk a little bit of Husker volleyball, as the Huskers have Minnesota tonight, Indiana on Saturday, and they kind of ramp things up as you look towards late November. Wisconsin, Penn State, both on the schedule, looking ahead. So I guess I'm looking ahead. Do you have any concerns that this Husker volleyball team looks ahead? It's a good Minnesota squad they're playing tonight.
Yeah, good Minnesota squad. Always a well-coached program. We got the Bits Broken Share on the line since they're not playing on the football side this season, which is cool. So it's kind of this one tonight that I think could be a little bit difficult for Nebraska. I would expect them to get pushed at points, but they've just played so well of late that, man, I would expect them to come away with a win, and then of course beat Indiana as well and kind of keep sailing. The role that they're on has been pretty remarkable, and we've seen a lot of good volleyball. Like the base level of what we expect for Nebraska volleyball is already super high. They've stayed above that line. This team has this year for most of the year since dropping that match to SMU.
Vogues, where would you go out in LA? Randy's Donuts is circled for Elijah. He may be doing a live shot from the beach tomorrow for tomorrow's show. I'll be at Ameristar in Council Bluffs, right outside Amerisports, in honor of Dana and table games. you know? So I'm interested in, I know you hate the beach.
I do hate the beach, and I've never been to LA, but I've always wanted to put on some neon spandex and rollerblade around Venice Beach. So I would definitely do that. And then
would you do that? Would you do the full leotard like
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, probably pink and green is what I'm thinking.
No,
I don't know. I'd have to look.
shorts,
I'd have to look.
no tank top. It's one outfit. It's a onesie.
Yep, I'd have to look in my closet to see what's available. Honestly, like if I were to go to LA, this is some extreme nerd stuff, but like I would probably go to the New Beverly Cinema, which is one of the theaters that Tarantino owns. I get their email newsletter with all the crazy movies that they're playing all the time. So like getting that experience of actually going to a movie in LA at a small theater like that would probably be something I'd try to work in there on the Friday night before game day if I could.
Okay.
So Brandon says dress up like Richard Simmons and go see a movie. Gotcha.
Love it.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's so good. Vogues, we'll check in Saturday, bud. Appreciate you much.
All right. Thanks, guys.
There he is. And get to subscribe to Counter Read. CounterRead.com.
I didn't even think about the old spandex and rollerblading. That is so far from being up my alley.
So 90s. Yeah.
I even go 80s. That's like that screams the outfit I have in mind is something you've seen Richard Simmons wearing.
You need to drive some rusted out Dodge, show up in a Detroit Lions leather jacket with some ripped jeans, and go full Axel Foley Beverly Hills Cop.
That's an option.
I mean, you should just see what house is vacant and invite yourself in.
See, I don't know about that.
Have you not seen Beverly Hills Cop 1 and 2?
No.
At all?
No, my concern is more like, I don't know,
going to jail.
The who is the one mass murderer from out there? Manson.
Yeah, Charlie.
Yeah, just showing up unannounced in people's houses. That's kind of Manson vibes.
Yeah, it happened a while ago. Let's hear from Matt Rhule.
Happened a while. It did, but like the threat's still there. Threat's always there, you know.
Lots of folks have firearms, Elijah, out in California. Yay. So how about the transition here, right? How smooth has this week been? Cut 11.
Oh, let's turn the sound on.
I think the whole thing's been smooth. I think the whole thing's been seamless. I think like the way Sat, Glenn, Garrett, Donnie, EJ, the way that they've made it seamless, because hey, this is that, and they're just adapted to it right away. And so I think everyone's excited about this opportunity. Everyone's excited to have someone of Dana's resume in the building, and so yeah, it's been way smoother than maybe one would think. But I wouldn't have done it if I didn't know Dana, know his ability to do something like this. And so I think it's been good, and we'll go play Saturday and see if there's any hiccups in the process. We'll adjust them moving forward. That's why, like I said, this wasn't some short-term splash thing. This was to me an opportunity to make an epic move that can push us into the next tier. And this is our first game on that push.
He isn't wrong. And while you've seen nothing yet on the field, you've had good to above average to at times great defense. If you can pair this level of defense with an offense that can put up some points, that can attract some recruits, that can follow through on the development and then retain these high-level kids you've already brought in, and have an offense that can score points, that's high-flying while still being physical, and keep this defense the way it's been. Man, I mean, obviously fix special teams for the love of God, but you're in a different tier. Got to go win some ball games, got to go win on the road, got to handle your business in some big games, but you got a fighting chance. We'll wind down hour one. More of your comments coming up here in the stream with Hail Varsity YouTube.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance. You can live out your MasterChef dream when you find a professional on Angie to tackle your dream kitchen remodel. Connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. Inside to outside, repairs to renovations. Get started on the Angie app or visit Angie.com today. You can do this when you Angie that.
Hello, neighbor from Super C Convenience Stores. Here to remind you about Super C Rewards. I swipe and save every day with Super C Rewards. Rack up rewards on every purchase and redeem for free stuff like coffee, fountain drinks, cookies and donuts, energy drinks. And Thursdays, I get double points on 16-ounce Monsters. Tuesdays, I get 20 bonus points with the purchase of 12 packs of pop and beer. I keep track of my Reward Club purchases. Come on, neighbor. Download Super C Rewards, available in the Apple or Google stores.
Trust is a foundation of any strong relationship. It's earned every day.
At 1011, it's the way we cover the community we call home.
Working hard to fact check, verify, and get the story right.
It means alerting you first to severe weather and preparing for what's ahead.
It's telling the stories that bring us together and make us proud to be Nebraskan.
Trust Cole Miller, Medicine Pitch, Chief Meteorologist Ken Shumick, and Sports Director Kevin Suits. The most watched, the most trusted. That's 1011.
Village Heart dinner rolls are a must for the upcoming holiday. Getting together with family and friends is great, but to be honest, I really look forward to the big holiday meal. And whether we roast a turkey or ham, we always have plenty of Village Heart dinner rolls. They're great with the meal, but they also make the best little turkey and ham sandwiches the next day. Baked locally and delivered fresh daily, Village Heart dinner rolls are the natural choice for holiday meals.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news.
And now, back to Hail Varsity Radio.
Back with you, Hail Varsity. Chris Schmidt, Elijah Herbel, as we are gearing up for a couple of road shows, be it Ameristar Council Bluffs Casino tomorrow, 4 to 6. Come find us across the river. Elijah will be, we decided, Venice Beach. Is that where we're going? Or we're well, I say we because we're doing the show tomorrow, but you'll be in Venice.
No, I think Santa Monica.
Santa Monica. Okay. I'm just trying to change locations on you.
Testing my knowledge. Yes, Santa Monica, I think, is the plan.
Okay.
Maybe Manhattan Beach.
Manhattan Beach?
I don't quite know. Venice Beach is right there, too.
So you're going to go pump up before you go? No. You're not going to go get a set, squat, bench?
We're into RFK out there.
Maybe, possibly.
Yeah.
Right.
Shirtless RFK ripping bench press at Venice Beach.
Why not? All right, buckle up.
You've seen that video, right? Sorry, not to interrupt your review. You've seen that?
The RFK got tapped today by the Trumpster, and yeah.
I'm not here to get into politics.
Neither am I.
I'm just
letting you know. You mentioned RFK.
Sorry, I'm just referencing the video of him at Muscle Beach ripping out bench press.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, back to your review, sorry.
Buckle up is what we're telling you to do. Use your seatbelt. It saves lives, prevents injuries only if properly worn. Make it click. A message from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. And squeeze in a little more. Matt Rhule, Damon Benning, 10 minutes away. Coach Barney going to be with us at 5:25 tonight. And you have Matt Rhule talking a little bit earlier. Let's hear from his thoughts on this USC offense and the elements that Maeva brings to the Trojan offense.
I think anytime you play against Coach Riley, one of the great offensive masterminds in football, I mean, you have to first stop the run. Woody Marks, I think, is one of the best backs I've seen in a long time. Tremendous run system that they have, and then they've added in, both with Miller and I'm sure with Jaden as well, like Milton added in the ability to pull the ball and run what amounts to triple option. So they're running power and counter gap type schemes to one side and pulling the ball, and quarterback can run it or throw to a guy who's being on the perimeter. So very akin to when they had Jalen Hurts when we competed against him at Oklahoma. So we went back and I watched the quarterback at UNLV that a lot of the same things in that go offense there, triple option type plays, throws an elite deep ball. So there's he's a really, really talented player. There's a reason why everybody wanted him when we went in the portal last year, and he's getting his opportunity. I thought Miller and Moss played exceptionally well as well. So I mean, again, Coach Riley's he's the best that there is in my mind.
Elijah, Rhule's talked a ton about coaching it better, but executing better as a player, as guys, right? It's all of us. And I'm, kind of paraphrasing a quote, but I think what you're going to see Saturday for the first time, I think you're going to see position groups coached up. Like there won't be, it's not that they'll do their job perfectly or do it all the time, but I think you're going to see a higher level of play. Like there's going to be some follow through. And if you miss your block, so be it, or you don't hold your block long enough on a short pass at the line, so be it. But it's not going to be absolutely disastrous. I think the demand and the standard of play with Data as the sheriff for the rest of the offensive position groups is going to be felt.
I think it'll feel better. I think because the game plan will more accentuate the strengths of guys within the offense.
That's fair. Damon Benning's on the way, hour 2.
Odd Oil and Propane, with their new showroom at 625 West O Street, is proud to present the new Phoenix Grill, the grill that cooks everything. The Phoenix Grill allows you to roast, steam, smoke, and of course grill, designed to enhance the flavor of food with built-in features to reduce flavor damage and flare-ups. Phoenix Grill lets you cook worry-free for great tasting food and consistent results. Come see the full line of Phoenix Grills available exclusively at Odd Oil and Propane, West O Street, Lincoln, now open on Saturdays.
Hi, this is Jeff Mall with Visit Lincoln. With so much new happening in our community for tourism, our team works hard to create a vehicle that best tells our story and that continues through the evolution of our website at lincoln.org. Our site features new and updated dynamic photos of local restaurants, hotels, events, and attractions, and is easy to navigate for visitors to the site. This includes bigger photos, bigger buttons, and a much more organized website based on destination marketing organization and travel industry standards for tourism. Hosting new content is key to these standards, which includes social media, tourism blogs, tourism itineraries, neighborhood guides, free things to do, cities of the Big Ten, and the ability to show dynamically visitors some of the most photographable spots in our city. Visitors to our site will also have a chance to see our feature video, which still gives me chills, and many new features that we will roll out in 2025. I'm proud of tourism in our community, and it's one more thing I enjoy about life in Lincoln. I'm Jeff Mall.
1 in 4 Americans have a disability. I'm one of them. I'm also a working mom who cares deeply about making sure every child with a disability thrives by getting their access needs met. We've got a trusted ally by our side. Easter Seals provides children and families the foundation for lifelong success through early learning programs, skills training, and prep for college and career. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours. Join us at easterseals.com.
This is your station for local news, talk, sports, and weather. FM 101.5, 1240 AM, KFOR, Lincoln.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Pushback on Capitol Hill over President-elect Trump's choice for Attorney General. Matt Gaetz resigned from the House ahead of an Ethics Committee's report into sexual misconduct. Here's ABC's Jay O'Brien.
Previously, the Department of Justice investigated these allegations of sex trafficking into Matt Gaetz. They did not bring criminal charges. Matt Gaetz has denied any wrongdoing. And then there became this House Ethics Committee investigation into Gaetz, which looked into similar allegations. And it's over the course of that investigation that ABC News has now learned that this woman in question said that Matt Gaetz had sex with her when she was 17 years old, and he was a member of Congress, and she was, of course, a minor.
In a statement to ABC News, Gaetz says in part these allegations are invented and would constitute false testimony to Congress. New York City set to become the first in the U.S. to usher in congestion pricing, but legal battles could still be ahead.
Beginning in January, vehicles entering parts of Manhattan will pay a $9 toll. New York's congestion pricing plan offers discounts after 9 p.m., and Governor Kathy Hochul says
this is to encourage nighttime deliveries in particular and help reduce congestion during the daytime hours.
But opponents like Assemblyman Michael Novikov say
we won't stand by while politicians pass the cost of their failures onto the rest of us.
He called it an unjust and unfair tax. Brian Clark, ABC News.
A setback for Israel's prime minister in his corruption trial.
The Jerusalem District Court rejecting a petition to delay Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's corruption trial. The judges ruling out another wartime extension for Netanyahu's legal team, saying 5 months were already allotted last July. It means Netanyahu will have to take the stand in less than 3 weeks and begin answering questions about the bribery and graft charges he faces.
You're listening to ABC News.
This statement has not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
I was always tired with weekly bouts of indigestion. A friend asked me, when was the last time you did a detox? Never, I said. So she recommended Active Liver.
Our liver works hard every day to remove toxins from processed foods and unclean air and water. But too many toxins can overwhelm the liver, causing it to actually store toxins in our body fat. Low energy, brain fog, headaches, bloating, and skin irritation are all telltale signs that we need to act. Water or juice fasts can help, but often require days or weeks of feeling tired and sick. Thankfully, there's an easier way. Active Liver from New Nordic is a natural supplement that helps your liver effectively eliminate toxins on a daily basis, leaving you feeling better with more energy and less bloating.
Within a week of taking Active Liver, I was feeling better, and now I have more energy than I've had in years.
Available in both tablet or delicious gummies, you can find Active Liver online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com or in stores at your local CVS or Meijer grocery.
Closing out trade mission business in Europe for a Nebraska Ag delegation. Hello, I'm Will Wilson. It's 55 degrees at KFOR. A trade mission trip to Central Europe for a group of Nebraska Ag leaders and Governor Pillen wraps up today. Most of this week, they have spent time in Germany, where members of the Nebraska delegation manned a large pavilion during Euro Tiers International Cattle and Pig event. Sherry Vinton is the director of the Nebraska Department of Agriculture and says the delegation has been learning about the German standards of production, their equipment, and technology while promoting Nebraska's standards.
Looking forward to working together in a partnership so we can continue to produce the high quality, safe food that our consumers and consumers around the world demand, with the standards that are going to take care of our natural resources for this generation and the next generation.
Governor Pillen and other trade delegates have also met with German manufacturers to consider expansion in the U.S., including Nebraska. Attorneys for former Nebraska Republican 1st District Congressman Jeff Fortenberry have filed paperwork to try and clear his name ahead of a retrial set for February 3rd in Washington, D.C. Fortenberry resigned from Congress in 2022 after a California jury found him guilty of lying to the FBI about an illegal campaign contribution of $30,000 from a Nigerian billionaire. Fortenberry's attorneys say the trial should have been in D.C., not in Los Angeles. The alleged false statements Fortenberry made to the FBI occurred in his Lincoln home and his Washington, D.C. office. While snow is yet to fly this season in Lincoln, it should serve as a reminder to have your vehicle ready to handle the extreme winter weather. One thing you can do is check your tire tread, the fluids, car battery, and windshield wipers. Also have an emergency kit, such as food and water, along with a hat, gloves, coat, blanket, shovel, ice melt, and an ice scraper if you get stranded.
We also ask that you use that ice scraper to clear your windshield and mirrors once we start getting icy and snowy conditions.
Lincoln Police Public Information Manager Erica Thomas adds it would be a good idea to have your fuel tank filled. Clear tonight with a low near 36. I'm Will Wilson, KFOR News.
KFOR is your home for Kansas City Chiefs football.
Now they motion to set up three eligible to the right. They throw right, touchdown! Kansas City! Travis Kelce just pivots inside.
Every snap, every play.
Clock's waiting for the snap. Placement is down. Let's just kick. It's blocked. It's blocked. It's blocked. The Chiefs blocked the kick. They're going to stay undefeated.
Kansas City Chiefs football is on KFOR.
Keep up with the local news, sports, your favorite talk shows, and pro shows on KFOR wherever you roam. Stream us 24/7 at KFORnow.com or on your mobile. You can download the free iHeart or TuneIn app and stream KFOR on the go.
The following is a paid program. Content is provided by Hurrdat Media and may contain pre-recorded material. The voice of Husker Nation is on the air. This is Hail Varsity Radio. Insight, opinion, expertise, along with the biggest names talking Nebraska sports. Join in with the show at 402-489-1240 or 1-800-825-5865. Now, here are your hosts, Chris Schmidt and Elijah Herbel.
Back into it, it's hour 2 at Hail Varsity. Chris Schmidt and Elijah Herbel. You hear him on Hurrdat Sports, 7 to 10 weekday mornings, him and Ravi, and of course with the Husker Sports Network. Damon Benning joins us for another Thursday. DB, how we doing, man?
We're good, man. Just looking forward to seeing where we're at. We got playoffs and the semifinals, trying to make an unprecedented historic run and get a chance to play for 6 in a row. And I got the Huskers coming up on Saturday, so my 2 favorite teams are in action.
I love it. Let's start with the 6 in a row. Let's talk about that process, that journey, that collection, and the staff you're on. Wow.
Yeah, they're incredible. Just a really good bunch of guys. Really pay attention to detail. They love to work, right? I mean, the capacity to be repetitive every day, I think it's kind of understated. People talk a lot about it, but it's hard to do. And it's required from our head coach with our staff. So the consistency has been an unbelievable ride. I love these guys, and let's see if we can't put ourselves in position to play for another one.
Yeah, Damon, when you look at Omaha North, you hear a lot of people say it's hard to beat a team twice. You guys beat them back in week 1. You got them again now tomorrow night. Do you think that old adage rings true? It's hard to beat a team twice?
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I'm very familiar with that program. I met my wife coaching at that high school. I've been with Coach Martin. I was there for 9 years, making a heck of a run there. And that's a team that, and he does it all the time, right? He has this uncanny ability to get guys motivated to go on these historic runs. It's what he expects. We sometimes on the outside looking like, oh gosh, death, taxes, and here come the North Vikings. But it's just an expectation level for Coach Martin, and he makes a living knocking off higher seats. He's done it for a long time, and they're a lot different. We're both teams are different than we were in week 1, and markedly so. But they're getting really good quarterback play. I think they have one of the best players in the state that no one talks about outside of the folks on 38th and Ames, and that's Darian Jones, the younger brother of Donovan Jones, who's at Nebraska. So they got some fellas, and we'll have to pay close attention to it.
Damon Benning with us, few minutes. Hail Varsity Radio to Nebraska we go, Damon, and interested to follow up on the motivation word. And what's USC's motivation level? I mean, there's Nebraska, there's crosstown rival UCLA, there's Notre Dame, a team that's full of talent, that has changed quarterbacks, a head coach that's super talented and super bright, but under fire. And here comes the Big Red with their own changes.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? I think if you ask the fan base, we're going to get to the same place, but for a couple of different reasons. So I think one thing that both fan bases share is uncertainty. They're like, wow, we've made changes here in Lincoln, and Lincoln Riley they're under 500. They can't finish in the fourth quarter. He's been terse with the media. He shut down practice. There's a quarterback change. And Nebraska fans are thinking, well, we may be able to catch him napping. Oh, wait. Well, we're going through some changes on our own. Is it better to do these changes on the road and play in Southern Cal or have them at home where there's been this pressure to perform and answer to the media through this bye week? If you're SC, they're thinking, well, I know it's a little topsy-turvy, but at least we're at home, so we'll give us the advantage. Now, we'll see if that turns out to be true, but I think this one in the mood ultimately lands on road versus away. SC has played better, although it hasn't always yielded wins. Mm-hmm. They've played better at home. They've scored more. Now, we'll see if Nebraska can continue the string of UCLA not being able to USC not really being able to hold serve at home. Mm-hmm. But it's a monumental task, and one in which they're going to have to auto and kind of self-correct in a hurry if they want to find a way to pull this one out.
Damon, we've spent plenty of time talking about the offense this week. I'm sure we'll get there at some point here this afternoon. But first, I want to ask you, how tough a job do the defensive coordinators have this week? The fact that USC's going to the backup quarterback, maybe they do a little bit more quarterback run. You don't really know what that offense looks like. So it's a tough spot for Tony White. And then for Coach Lynn over at USC, you look at Nebraska's offense, and it sounds like Rhule is going to be the guy. That's been in question this week, but now you get the information from Rhule. It seems like it's going to be Rhule, but still a Holgorsen-led offense. You don't know how much they've changed in a week. You don't know exactly what it's going to look like. Those two guys both have a really, really tough job this week.
Yeah, I can imagine Lynn just picked up the phone and called their crosstown rival and said, hey, you used to work for me. We used to do good defense together. What do you guys think? Right? So I'm sure for at least the last 7-8 days, USC and UCLA have found a way to get along, considering the relationship that Lynn has over there. And conversely, if you're Coach White, you're right. You've got an offense that's going to look a little different. You've had to watch multiple films, right? You're splicing UNLV, you're splicing some spring game. You're going to, early in the season where you thought SC may want to run the ball a little bit more with Moss. So collectively, I think you definitely got your work cut out in terms of information you can acquire. But if I'm Nebraska and I'm Coach White, I try to keep it simple. I try to make UCLA one-handed. What have they kind of not done as well? Well, they haven't really taken a ton of shots downfield and been a little conservative on offense in terms of getting vertical in the passing game. Don't allow a quarterback making his first start for this team, although he's not, he's got experience. I hear my heart there, but don't allow him to get comfortable with the ground game and occasionally his legs to uncork some shots vertically down the field. Make them as one-dimensional as possible and start with taking away the run.
Damon Benning's joining us here, Hail Varsity Radio. Damon, let's talk Dylan and let's talk Dana and how that could perform early here in what a lot of Nebraska fans hopes a long-term relationship going into next season with Dana. But the here and now is to get a really talented kid back on his feet and firing away.
Yeah, from an arm talent standpoint and kind of a quarterback acumen, this may be the most talented guy that Coach Holgorsen has had to coach. And I get it. I'm not sure what happened with the redshirting with Cam Ward and when he was at Houston, but you could make the case. Now, how good of a fit it will be? Well, that's the $64,000 question, right? We know he likes quick game. We know that he likes to take his shots when he gets vertical in the passing game. We know he likes option routes, and we know he likes RPO. 3 of those things really play to Dylan's strengths. Good RPO guy, really understands how to throw the deep ball. It will be the quick game that I'll be curious to see, because he kind of introduces some more option routes, some more choice routes for those wide receivers. Can they get on the same page quickly and efficiently enough to give them a chance to move the ball offensively? And then how will Nebraska's ground game, which I know it's strange to say out loud, but they ran the ball more than they threw it a couple weeks ago against UCLA. But sometimes I think our fan base would lead you to believe it was just the opposite. So we'll see how the ground game complements this new offense.
if you can put it in simple words, Damon, how do you define a successful performance from the Husker offense given the events of the past 2 weeks? How do you define a successful performance on Saturday?
I think you want to be better than where you have been, which means you want to operate at above 45% third down conversion rate, and you want to be better in the red zone, right? I've said this before, Nebraska's offense gets to the opponent's 40-yard line 60% of the time, yet they only score 57% of the time once they get there. So immediate dividends will be, if we're going to cross the opponent's 50 and be on the plus side, we got to have a better finishing drive rate. So look for that to improve, but it can't happen without being better on third down. And they haven't been bad. It's in critical situations when they need a third down that I think you got to look for. Outside of that, I think it's continuity. Always check the play clock. The one place I think Coach Holgorsen can pay immediate dividends is fluidity within the offense. He's been a head coach. He's called plays before, so he understands sequencing and what he wants to do. I think they'll call a much quicker game for sure.
Damon, when you look at both of these squads, 2-7 since the month of October, let's talk special teams, because that's been a bugaboo for Nebraska, although it's at least a little bit better, comparatively speaking. And then I look at SC with Lemon and Branch. Is that a difference maker on Saturday? Which special teams unit that third phase performs best?
Well, I think it's going to be critical. And I'm telling you, Branch is as good as anybody in the country, right? I vote on the Jet Award. It's given to the top returner in the country. Branch won that award a year ago. He is electric, and he is as dangerous in space as anybody in all of college football. So Nebraska will have to pick their poison and choose wisely in terms of how they defend that kick coverage game, because it will be critical. I mean, execution will be at a premium with that guy back there on special teams. And then conversely, I think Nebraska's got to get off to a good start from a field position standpoint. Don't let I'm going to guess 45, 50,000. You may have 12 to 15 Nebraska fans there, but you can't let what crowd there will be there in a late Southern California afternoon get involved early. I'd like for Nebraska to be able to at least establish some sort of field position early. But I think you hit the critical portion is you better find out where numero uno is and keep the ball away from Branch, because I'm telling you, he's a guy you hold your breath every time he touches it.
Damon Benning with us here, Hail Varsity Radio. And Damon, as we start to wind things down here, one thing that hasn't been talked about much this week, I want to get your thoughts on, at least hasn't been talked about much on our show, has been the cross-country travel element here for Nebraska. Yeah. How difficult is that actually? Because you think about it from an outsider, the guy who's sitting on his couch watching the game, and you go, oh, okay, they took a couple-hour plane ride. What's the difference? How difficult is that actually to go cross-country travel across 2 time zones and go try to play a football game on Saturday?
Yes. So I think them adjusting the practice body clock will help, right? Peak hours, when is there the release of testosterone, because there's that natural morning release, and then there's as we're going throughout the day. And so I think this week for Nebraska, trying to adjust that as quickly as possible is just kind of a little sneaky key. Their nutrition staff does a really good job. They do a good job with their sleep patterns. So it won't be as big a deal to Nebraska, because I think they've been smart about it. It's something that Coach Rhule has talked about since he's taken the job. One of the reasons that he thinks it's the premier conference in the country, because you do have to account for 3 different times, or every time zone. So for him, I think he's well aware. Now, how quickly his team will get acclimated, they'll see, right? I mean, got to be in your seats tomorrow at 12:15. They're going to take off at the normal time. They're going to get to Los Angeles, after a couple hours private flight, around, I'm going to guess, 2:30. So they'll be fine. They'll go through their normal routine. That is the same time that they land roughly at any away destination. We're probably getting our keys to that hotel around the 4 o'clock mark normally, and that's not going to change here with these guys. So how much it'll matter, I don't know, but Nebraska will have exhausted every option to make sure it's as seamless as possible.
Have you purchased your Russell Wilson jersey yet?
Listen, that's funny, because there's always that guy. You and I, we talk about our other sports teams all the time, Schmidt, and Russell Wilson is one of them. And I've had to go through a few, right? I had to cheer for Jeff Kent as a Dodger. Juan Uribe came over from San Fran to play for the Dodgers. I wasn't a big Shaquille O'Neal guy. I can't stand LeBron as a Lakers fan. This one, it hasn't been near as bad because in Tomlin I trust. Those aforementioned, we're going to, storied franchises, but even the time in which they went there, I was like, okay, it's a little shaky. I felt like the Steelers environment in Tomlin, I mean, heck, he kept Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown under wraps for years, right? He can handle Russell Wilson. So it didn't give me near as the willies as it normally would, but in Russ we trust, and I never thought I would say that.
I'm just glad that at the end of the day, all parties involved in this, because it was a debacle last year for the Broncos at the end of the year. Like, they handled that so poorly, but they got their guy in the draft. The Steelers got themselves a good quarterback. Russ gets a great landing spot with the best head coach in the NFL, who's, I mean, as he always does, winning football games. I'm just happy it turned out great for everybody, because I had my doubts last year.
Are you a Broncos fan?
Capital D for the Donks, baby.
Oh, my gosh. You got to wake up and have special teams nightmares being a Nebraska and a Denver fan, don't you?
You didn't have to tell me. You didn't have to remind me.
There's a lot of empty Jack Daniels.
I like you a ton. I'm like, shoot, man, I need to give you a hug.
It's been a rough decade since that Super Bowl win.
Yeah. He's gone Coors Original and Coors Light the last couple of weeks. -3 though.
He's just ready to hit that banquet. That's what he needs. That banquet beer.
Him and Rip. -3 Baltimore. Do you like your boys getting 3 at home?
I do. I'm surprised. I mean, Lamar's playing as well as anybody in the NFL. He's probably a legitimate MVP candidate, and that defense, that pass defense, though, for Baltimore is atrocious. I think Jamar Chase just got open again. Now, can the Steelers exploit it? I don't know, but I think at least early on they'll be able to match them big play for big play. What the Steelers can't do is start allowing teams to run the football. They're great against the run. They have been all season. Don't let King Henry and L-Jack get it going.
Well, Damon, best to you tomorrow night, and we'll be listening this weekend with Nebraska-USC. Appreciate your time, bud.
Hey, thanks, fellas. Have a great rest of the show.
Where's the perfect place to go for lunch every day?
Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill.
Where can you watch all of your favorite college and professional sports all season long?
Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill.
Who's got family-friendly entertainment all throughout the week, including trivia, music bingo, and live music every Friday?
Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill.
Hurrdat Sports Bar in La Vista is the spot for lunch, date night, corporate events, or even a late-night cocktail. A one-of-a-kind spot for sports fans and more. Behind Cabela's in La Vista.
Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Learn more at Viking.com.
Do you have an invention idea but don't know what to do next? Call InventHelp today. We have representatives nationwide who will explain the InventHelp process step by step. Over 10,000 patents have been secured through InventHelp's patent referral services. The InventHelp Databank includes thousands of companies who have agreed to review new ideas. We've been helping inventors since 1984. Let's help you next. Get started today.
Call 1-800-217-4380. That's 1-800-217-4380. Again, 1-800-217-4380.
Give the star in your life the brightest gift in the world. Name a star after them. This is Rocky Moselle with International Star Registry. For $59 and a call to 800-282-3333 or visit starregistry.com, you can name a star for birthdays, weddings, or even memorials. Over 45 years, we have named millions of stars for celebrities and individuals from around the world. The star you name will be recorded in book form in the U.S. Copyright Office. Visit starregistry.com or call 800-282-3333.
I juggle a lot. And managing constipation with belly pain from my irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C, with laxatives and fiber isn't enough. My doctor recommended a way to get ahead of it. Then I said yes to Linzess.
Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Talk to your doctor.
And now, back to Hail Varsity Radio.
Back with you at Hail Varsity. Chris Schmidt, Elijah Herbel, and we'll get Coach Barnett on the horn here in a moment. Brian checks in, says Rhule likes to allow the other team who may suck to gain momentum and puts us on our heels too much. It's going to be that top one. Thanks, Elijah. So, yeah, we're having a mini Schmidt crisis right now at the household. So I'll share it with all of you because why the hell not embarrass Junior? So apparently the kid woke up late, and I can't tell you how many times he has woke up late for school. So that is a thing. There's some charity volleyball thing going on, and he thought he was just going to breeze on into that as he's at a very nice Italian dinner with his girlfriend, which is wonderful, except he's got a chemistry test tomorrow that he didn't tell me about. So I've been deceived a little bit during the commercial break. I got to make the old phone call to Junior, ream him. Elijah, Carson is now in trouble and making his way home from dinner. So I completely embarrassed him apparently in front of his girlfriend.
That builds
that happens. Don't be late. There's consequences. We say hi to Coach Gary Barnett. Coach, how we doing? What's the good word today?
We're doing okay, Chris. What's going on, man?
Oh, just being having to rule with an iron fist as a father to an 18-year-old. Apparently, dude was late for school this morning.
Oh, good luck with that. Better you than me.
Exactly.
He's got to learn don't be late, and if you are late, learn to intercept that phone call home.
Well, that and he's in this chemistry class, Coach Barnett. He's got his mama's brains. Hold your commentary, please. And he's got a test tomorrow, and he's going to go to volleyball. And I'm like, can't do it, man. You're home for the night. So we go back to that benching and benching your quarterback discussion last week, right?
That's right. Bench is your best friend.
It is.
Brent chimes in on the stream here and says, but you guys are late every Saturday morning.
No. It's a digital show. Brent, yeah, do as I say, not as I do, I guess. Coach, let's get into some football. But busy week for Nebraska. Dana Holgorsen is now the man in charge. We kind of talked a little bit about it last week, but what's your reaction to the moves Rhule has made? And we were talking earlier, is there a payoff as early as Saturday at USC?
I don't know that. I don't know how Dana can make that move that quick. And so it'll be interesting. It's unconventional. There's no question about it. It would be hard for me to personally do it, but I understand Matt's situation, and you got to do what you got to do. And so I think everybody will just watch and see how it plays out. I mean, what else can you do?
What, from your point of view, does Coach Rhule's situation look like right now? You're this deep into year 2. You've got a 5-star quarterback. You've got the portal and poachers. How do you view the situation Nebraska's in right now?
Well, it's a little helter-skelter. I'm surprised that Matt's probably doing all this right now, but it must be, as he perceives it, absolutely necessary, or you don't do this sort of thing. And so, those of us on the outside, we don't really know what's going on the inside. So you just got to trust Coach Rhule and trust his experience that he knows what he's doing. And he didn't want to do this. Trust me, he didn't want to do it, but he feels like he has to do it. If you feel like you have to do it, you got to do it. So we'll just see how it plays out. But, to expect a miracle overnight, I don't know that that's going to happen. But at some point in time, he must have felt like this had to happen. It might as well happen now.
It's Gary Barnett with us here, Hail Varsity Radios. We talk Nebraska-USC, Nebraska new play caller Dana Holgorsen. And Gary, one of the things Matt Rhule mentioned today, he said it at his press conference, was the fact that this transition this week has gone better than you might expect. From your perspective, someone who's been in coaching, if it did go better than you expect, what realistically do you think can actually be different with the offense? We've talked this week about cutting the playbook down, really locking in on the things that you're good at and focusing on those, maybe reducing some of the personnel packages. Is there anything else that you think can realistically get changed within a week? Not obviously wholesale changes to the offense, but little minor tweaks that can be made?
Well, I just think you put your quarterback in a position where you don't turn the ball over. You don't put your team in harm's way because of your quarterback play. I think that's one thing. And, going against SC, you need to be able to run the football. And, 113 yards against UCLA, you can't run for 113 and win this game against SC. Everybody that beats SC runs the ball against them. And so, I don't know how much in the past game you want to tweak. You don't want turnovers. You don't want 2 interceptions like you had in the last game. So you got to cut down on interceptions, and you somehow, I think, need to find a way to run the football. And Nebraska can run the football. You just got to decide to do it. And, SC is a beatable team, but, at this point in time, it's 8.5?
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, I think it's 8.5 when I saw it. So, at this point in time, I think with SC, you've got to run the football, avoid turnovers, and play the defense you've played at other times in the year, because SC's they're in a problem too. They've got problems. So, both teams are struggling with some of the similar things, but SC's got all sorts of problems, probably more from the top down than any place else. So, this is a game that if you can run the football, if you can avoid turnovers, you can just play solid defense, you have a chance to win. They've changed quarterbacks, the whole scenario with the recruiting violations. It's not Disneyland out there either. So this should be a good match.
Gary Barnett's with us, Hail Varsity Radio Hall of Fame coach, talking some college football. Officially, the line is now dropped to 7.5. So SC's now favored by 7.5. So it's dropped, 2 full points since this morning? And
that's a lot.
Yeah,
but somebody knows something. But I think the changing in the quarterbacks probably makes a little bit of difference.
Yeah. Let's go into USC for a little bit, Coach. And what were your expectations with Lincoln Riley heading there? Caleb Williams took a lot of talent with him from Oklahoma. And they have, lost 10 of their last 12. Both of these teams 2-7 since October. But why has it gone so sour out there in La La Land?
It's a different world than Oklahoma and East Carolina and the other places he was. It's a different world. The expectations are different. But he certainly was the glamour boy for a while. And, when Mike Bone plucked him out of Oklahoma, that was a big move and everybody was with it and all in on it. But sooner or later, you got to show up and got to win. And I think the biggest problem for SC is they haven't been able to play defense for all these years that Lincoln Riley's been there. Yeah. He certainly had the offensive package and certainly had offensive skill, but they have not been able to put together a defense that would let them win the games they needed to win in order to stay in the top 10. So that's what I see, is just he's probably struggled with staff a little bit and decisions he makes in those coordinator issues.
Whenever you look at their defense, Coach, what do you think the holdup is? Because they have the athletes. USC has always had a boatload of athletes in their backyard. Is it a mentality thing or is it a scheme thing? Because if it's not the dudes, I'd assume it's one of those two things.
No, it's got to be a mentality. You know, you don't care what scheme you play if you have the defensive mentality. It really doesn't make any difference. And so to me, it's more mentality than anything. And, you know, Lincoln's throw it and gun it and all that sort of stuff. And sometimes you can forget there's two sides of it. You just can't score points. You got to stop points, and especially when you get better teams. So to me, it's more of a mentality. They certainly have players, but they have been a team that has struggled in the run game forever since Lincoln Riley was the head coach.
Gary Barnett's with us. Coach, we'll do some rapid fire. UCLA at Washington -4 Huskies.
I'll tell you what, I think UCLA's on a roll, you know, and you know, you guys caught them at just the wrong time, and they won last week. I think UCLA wins this game. Washington's a little bit down, but I think UCLA's finally figured it out.
I think UCLA goes bowling. That's how good I think they can be.
Yeah.
Nebraska at USC -7.5. You taking the Big Red or you taking Trojans?
Boy, this is two teams that are both having problems, and which one wins out? I don't know. I think SC probably, just because I don't think you can make the changes that you need to make in a week at Nebraska. But SC's really a talented football team.
Coach, let's talk Mizzou as the Tigers head out to South Carolina. The Gamecocks 14-point favorites. That seems like a lot of points to me. What do you say?
I think it's just right. I don't think Missouri's not playing very well, and I think or South Carolina is playing really well right now. They're the hottest team in the SEC. You know, they're playing great defense. Their quarterback's playing well. Missouri's really struggling. And, you know, I don't know whether their quarterback's going to play, but if the other kid plays, then they're going to really struggle. So I'm going to go South Carolina there.
Coach, I'm going to squeeze in two. Does Whiskey have one more in him? -14 Oregon to cover. And then, of course, Tennessee, Georgia. Georgia's got to bounce back. They got work down at Ole Miss, -9.5 Georgia.
Well, Tennessee's quarterback is out. Georgia is going to change quarterbacks. I don't know that Georgia can win by 9. I think, you know, the Tennessee factor. Tennessee's got a great defense. So they're really good. I think this is a 3-point game. So I'd take Tennessee and points.
What about Oregon, Wisconsin, real quick? -14 Ducks.
I'm going the Ducks.
I think so.
I think 14 against Wisconsin. I don't think they have any problem there.
All right. Coach Barnett, we'll check in next week. Appreciate your time.
All right. Great being with you guys.
Thanks, Coach.
Bye-bye.
Sunday, the Chiefs put their 9-0 record on the line in Buffalo for a huge AFC matchup against the 8-2 Bills. Pre-game starts at 2 on your home for Kansas City Chiefs football.
FM 101.5, 1240 AM, KFOR.
Time to tell you about Lincoln Weight Loss and their huge holiday 30% off sale with the lowest prices of the year. Now through December 31st, while supplies last. They know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day with no exercising, no prepackaged meals, no counting points or calories, no drugs, no surgery, and no injections with the risk of serious side effects. Sign up now to get the discount, and you can start the program before, during, or after the holidays. You'll keep the weight off for good with the revolutionary program. No more losing weight and then gaining it back. Go to LincolnWeightLoss.com now for details. I'm living proof that this program works. I lost all the weight in just a couple of weeks, and I've kept it off for over a year. Take advantage of the lowest prices of the year with this huge holiday sale. 30% off while supplies last. Do the program in person or virtually from anywhere you live. Schedule your free consultation now. 402-520-8170. That's LincolnWeightLoss.com.
Ooma. What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very
calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Learn more at Viking.com.
Imagine your team always looking and feeling their best in high-performance technical workwear. Cintas can make it happen. They have garments for almost every job imaginable. And with the Cintas Workwear program, you get freshly laundered garments delivered every week for everyone on your team. Great garments without the bother of laundry. That's a real perk for employees. Find out how Cintas can boost team image and morale. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Whether you're buying or selling your first home or your third, let Rich Rodenberg.
And now, back to Hail Varsity Radio.
Good stuff from Gary Barnett. Be sure to check out Coach Barney podcast, Spotify, iTunes, Google Play when you search for Hail Varsity Radio. We say hi to Danny Burke, Pride of Chicago, Burke's Best Bets, Burke'sBeat.com, and Stochastic. It's where you can find Odd Shoppers as well, both spots with Danny Burke. Pride of Chicago, you got the wall of Chicago behind you. I feel out of place between you and Elijah's glorious mustaches here to talk some sports gambling. How we doing?
Doing good. Yeah, the background not holding up too strong, both on the Huskers side and Chicago fandom side. But, that's usually the way it goes here as of late, guys.
Hey, Danny, have you found the odds on Eberflus keeping his job through the end of the season?
If they didn't do it after the Patriots game, it's just going to be the same old Bears who don't let go of their head coach during the regular season. I actually thought they were going to turn a corner and finally terminate their head coach, but no, again, here's this incompetent franchise keeping this doofus as the head coach who has clearly lost the locker room, clearly doesn't know what he's doing, and has just lost respect from the media, fans, players, everything. He's going to make it through the season, and then he'll get canned. But, man, it's just comical at this point. That's really what it is. You just got to sit back and laugh, and Bears fans aren't even really excited for this top-tier division rivalry game against the Packers. It's more just, all right, how are they going to lose and by how much more so?
And Danny, our good friend Jeremiah Searles on his podcast, The O-Line Committee, earlier this week did a great breakdown of the play calling that got Shane Waldron fired. I'll send it to you after the show. It's a fantastic breakdown. Searles just really eviscerated the Bears. I'm sure you'd love to see that.
I would love that. I would love all of that. The more content, eviscerating Eberflus, the better.
I love it. Well, Nebraska making a move. Dana Holgorsen is calling plays. Dylan Raiola is good to go. 7.5. We're talking a 2-point drop since this morning, Danny. And I know you've kept an eye on it. What do you think of Nebraska-USC, the line, the overs, the matchup? How you feeling?
Yeah, you mentioned 7.5. That's certainly the consensus out in my neck of the woods, although you can still get some 8.5s out there. Now, realistically, if you're right around 7.5, it's probably not going to fall on 8. But hey, if you could get better, of course, that is better for your situation. This game just makes me chuckle because if I'm looking at it from not being affiliated with Nebraska, not being a fan, not really understanding what kind of program this is a great buy low spot for the Huskers, right? You're getting a change in terms of the play calling, which kind of like the Bears, right? You know, like Waldron, and then you're getting rid of Satterfield. Like, it can't get much worse. You would think, you would hope. So that's at least got to give these respective teams a spark for 1 week, especially with Nebraska in this matchup against USC. And USC's been a team that I have been down on and been looking to fade more than I've bet on this entire season. For the most part, it's treated me fairly well. It just seems like this is, and I don't even know if I want to call it an overreaction, because rightfully so, Nebraska's looked terrible. And after that game against UCLA, rightfully, they should be catching some points. But it's more so on the side of, I don't think that USC has necessarily done anything well to warrant them being such a big favorite. I get that Nebraska has to travel to the West Coast, but I imagine a lot of the fans have some tickets from before the season. Hey, any excuse to get out, to California in November, why not take the opportunity? And it's not like it's a big home field advantage for the Trojans. So you also have a lot of injuries and quarterback changes and all these things happening with USC, to where objectively, I think the angle would be to take the points with Nebraska. Am I going to take it? Heck no, because I don't want to actually have to endure that from me being a fan and knowing, hey, this is a good spot for Nebraska. Seldom do they actually pull through and live up to those expectations of potentially being in a good spot. But, the old adage, gun to my head, yeah, I'd be taking the points with the Huskers, if anything.
Danny, anything else you like in college football this weekend, or should we move on to Thursday night football?
Honestly, not too much in college football, unless you guys got some recommendations for me. A lot more in NFL this weekend, but yeah, I'm probably waiting on a couple lines college football wise.
All right, with Thursday night football, then the Eagles 4-point favorites against the Washington Commanders. Mm-hmm. I love the Eagles rushing attack in this spot. Is that enough to get 4 points? I don't know. What say you, Danny?
So I laid 3 in the hook a little bit earlier today before it moved 4 across the board. Look, I mean, if you're really trying to get involved with a side, I still think Philadelphia is going to control this game. This is kind of the comeback to reality moment for Washington. And they're playing on a short week. You just played in a gruesome, gritty game against the Steelers, and now you're on the short week on the road in a division rivalry matchup against an Eagles team that has really been catching their stride. I mean, Hurts the last 5 games, 16 total touchdowns, 8 rushing touchdowns, only 1 interception, first in completion percentage over expectations, second in EPA per play, yards per attempt, and success rate. And defensively, PFF has them as the number 1 defense. They're first in defensive success rate, tied for first in pass coverage. Washington's defense, while it has gotten a little bit better overall, if you're looking at the entirety of the season, they ranked 28th overall according to PFF, 28th in pass coverage, 22nd in the run defense. As you mentioned, Elijah, maybe the Eagles are going to absolutely pummel them on that side of the ball, and wouldn't be shocked to see that. Saquon's really destroyed every opposition, and Hurts is going to do the same with his mobility. So I do think the Eagles have the clear advantages all throughout, that short home field advantage, again, and just having, the experience in these type of games where, yes, Daniels has been the best rookie, kind of come back down to reality himself the past 2 games. This will be another top-tier defense that he's faced. Heck, even against the Bears, they struggled to score a touchdown, right? It was only the Hail Mary. The Steelers, yes, they put up points, but they faltered. Now in this unique situation, seems like it sets up very nicely for the Eagles. So I like the Eagles in this spot.
I agree with everything you said there, Danny, except that Jaden Daniels has been the best rookie.
Hey, I did take your Broncos last week. I know you were high on them too. I felt terrible for I was watching that game going, I hope Elijah also took the points and not just the money line for Denver.
So I wanted to get your take here, Daddy, on Baltimore, Pittsburgh, and the money line here. And I mean, Pittsburgh's been putting up points with Russell. I know Baltimore's defense is a far cry from what it typically, when I think of Baltimore, I think of Ed Reed and company, and that's not what this is. Queens, of course, over with Pittsburgh now from Baltimore. What say you here? Do you see a shootout? Do you see a Ravens road win, or how you feeling here?
Yeah, and I was talking with a buddy about this game earlier, and I ended up taking Pittsburgh +3 in the hook at about -114 were the odds. And it's kind of one of those where I almost feel like maybe I'm the idiot here because it seems too good to be true type of thing. So perhaps I'm missing something. But the underdogs have dominated in this specific matchup between these two teams. And here was the stat I found very fascinating, was the underdog 26-6-3 against the spread when Tomlin and Harbaugh go head-to-head in the regular season. We talk about defenses like tonight's matchup. Pittsburgh is 7th in EPA per play. Baltimore is 27th. And you alluded to Russell Wilson. I mean, look, he has completely opened up the playbook for Pittsburgh, and that opens up for a guy like Najee Harris. The opponents can't stack the box as much because Russell Wilson presents more of a deep ball threat, unlike Justin Fields. So Wilson has had this resurgence, and catching even three in the hook in this spot at home with Pittsburgh. Again, maybe I'm just riding this train of Pittsburgh being good, but because of the history between these teams and the defensive advantages, I think it's hard to ignore Pittsburgh catching a field goal or better in this game.
Quick fantasy question. I've got Clement, for Chicago. Do I dump him and put JMO back from suspension? Second game back for Detroit as my flex guy.
Oof. Yeah. The thing with the Lions this week, very favorable matchup. The only fear, Schmidt, is that if they get out to too big of a lead,
they just run
the ball. Right. Exactly. But I think he's probably due for at least one touchdown. So he's a little bit of a safer bet.
Danny, appreciate you, bud. Thank you much.
You got it, fellas. Take care.
Slim Chickens makes it easy to feed your hungry crowd. Fresh hand-breaded tenders, perfectly fried wings, and all the southern sides made fresh for you. It's easy. Just order on the Slim's app or website and leave everything to us. You can get it delivered right to your door. Any party, any size. Slim's has your crowd covered. Download the Slim Chickens app to order and earn rewards.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Hello, neighbor from Super C Convenience Stores. It's tailgate season, and Super C Rewards gets you bonus points, club rewards, and savings on tailgate supplies. Get 20 bonus points on Fridays when you purchase 12 or 18 packs of beer and pop. Save those points and redeem for propane exchange. Get a free bag of ice when you purchase 9 with the Ice Club. You get free stuff with your tailgate on everyday purchases. Win or lose, all season long. Be a fan. Download the Super C Rewards app today at Apple or the Google Play Store.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go, but I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there, providing hot meals, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding.
To learn more, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
Listen Saturday mornings to Start Moving with Rich Rodenberg from Coldwell Banker NHS Real Estate. He'll have all the hints to guide you through the process of buying or selling a home smoothly. Start Moving every Saturday morning at 9:30 right here on KFOR.
This statement has not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
When it comes to my lifestyle and diet, I don't always make the smartest choices.
Touchdown! Woo! Hey, how about another round and some more chips?
But when it comes to taking care of my liver, I do make one very smart choice. Active liver tablets from New Nordic. I used to have real issues with my liver, and at my last checkup, my doc was concerned about my numbers. But since adding a once-a-day active liver tablet, my gut's better, I feel great, and my doctor's happy. I ask a lot of my liver, so the least I can do to say thanks is a daily dose of Active Liver.
You ask a lot of your liver, so give it the support it needs with Active Liver. You can find Active Liver at Amazon.com, or for a volume discount, visit NewNordicUSA.com. Go to new, NORDICUSA.com.
And now, back to Hail Varsity Radio.
All right, one final time, like a dork, I'm getting fantasy advice, but I'm getting great fantasy advice from Danny Burke.
Probably bad advice from me based on how my fantasy season's going.
Well, I've been in this league. I love it. It's the Jeff Bargain Memorial League. Been in it since 1992. I was in junior high. My cousin Nader has been the commissioner forever.
Oh, sorry, not to interrupt you. Breaking news in. Dawson Merritt has officially announced his commitment to the University of Nebraska.
All right. Thank you. Punting stupid fantasy talk for Nebraska getting the flip. Dawson Merritt.
Yeah, this comes from both Dawson officially by himself on Instagram along with Hayes Fawcett. So
okay, and On 3 also putting it out. So that's big. Wow. 4-star edge rusher is flipped to Nebraska from Alabama. That's huge. And our friend Tim Verghese hinted at that Monday. It was not if, but when. Go check Tim's pod out with us, and I'm sure he'll be on with Damon and Ravi tomorrow morning. So check that out. Our friends Brunsey and Schaaf also on top of it. And we'll talk with Brian Christopherson tomorrow, as he'll be in L.A. ahead of Nebraska-USC.
He can just come join me at the beach.
Yeah, because BC looks like the type of guy that wants to go to the beach in that Brandon Vogel mode of the sand is evil, the sun is worse. So, Elijah, Malibu Beach, we have settled.
Have we?
Yeah.
Venice Beach.
Venice?
Or
you're just going to be beach hopping.
Yeah, I don't know. Wherever I can find a spot that will let me plug in my laptop. I think I'm just going to go to whichever business, like bar or coffee shop, and say, hey, I got a long work meeting coming up. Do you guys mind if I use your spot overlooking the beach?
Can I trash USC for 2 hours inside, or do I have to do it outside?
I'm sure that'll go great for me.
Actually, you know what USC stands for? The running joke is the University of Spoiled Children. So clearly there is a possibility, a percentage that whatever coffee shop you are doing the show from, if it comes to that, is probably ran by the daughter of some rich USC trust fund gal.
Let's be clear.
Let's just completely stereotype.
Let's be clear, though. The odds of me running into a diehard USC fan at any establishment in LA,
even in the stadium,
it's lower than running into a diehard Nebraska fan. So
why don't you call your buddy Snoop and Will Ferrell up and get them on the show tomorrow?
I wish.
Right? I mean, it's been a long time since they've rock and rolled with Nebraska. It was 2007 that I think Will and Snoop were at Memorial Stadium, and they were on the sideline in 2006 when Nebraska and the Fighting Zach Taylors went out there and covered the number and made it competitive. But man, I'm old. That's how much time flies.
28-10 was the final in that game. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was.
Well, it was Nebraska being risk averse and being like, don't murder us, right?
No, they just let's kill the clock. Zach Taylor scored to draw within what did you say the score was?
28-10, I think.
Yeah, it was 21-10 because it was forever just a 3-point game. Nebraska actually led the game 3-0. The miracle of Jordan Condon making a field goal. But no, Zach Taylor kept a fake and got in right as the fourth quarter started, and that made an 11-point game, and then SC put it away. But Elijah, live from Los Angeles. Tomorrow I'll be at Ameristar Council Bluffs Casino. Come see us 4 to 6. Talk tomorrow.